Hey there, Internet. Keeve here, and welcome to the Cars and Keeve YouTube channel. And we're going over the newer version of the PWACCS foam cannons. They actually come with the exact same bottle in clear and opaque. So the main reason I picked this up is because we can drop test these and have a true one-for-one comparison of the exact same bottle design, exact same manifold, and see what's going on. We know what's going to happen, but I just felt it was going to be fun to have these. These aren't that expensive, and it's a newer bottle design that I haven't seen before. Obviously not leak-proof tops. They both have vent holes in the tops. I can see them. The difference between these bottles and the older version of the PWACCS, this one actually survived the drop tests. The bottom got pretty beat up. As you can see, the manifold has changed. They've went to the MJJC style manifolds. Now these bottles, even though they look very close to each other, they're actually slightly different. Just like there's a slight difference. Maybe it's the difference between the different molds in plastic between the HDPE and the PET2. This one at the 1500 milliliter mark actually measures 1537 milliliters. But it's not that bad because it's like 2.5% off. It's not bad. This one at 1500 milliliters is actually 1500 milliliters. Now balance, it all depends on where the nozzle is. So if the nozzle is dead straight this way, you have a definite, tip over point, just like that. But opposite direction, there is no tip over. This direction, balanced, sits very well. So if you're able to turn it a little bit tighter or maybe slightly looser to get it to go on the angle here versus the flat side, now we don't have that tipping. We don't have an imbalance point. It having 1500 milliliters, that gives you 50% more capacity than most of the foam cannons out there at 1 liter, and it really isn't taking up that much extra room. Slight improvements like that I really like. Obviously it doesn't have weighted ball, but since it has this indentation here in the bottom, all the liquid doesn't sit flat in the bottom. It actually comes off and goes into the corners. So that tube is going to pick up liquid a lot better in these corners. Now obviously since this one isn't see-through, you can't see as much. It's very hard to tell where the tube is sitting. You have to be really close. You can see it's right there. Here you go up close. You can see how it's more a little domed. And as you can see all around, it's all dead flat. Here you can see it's more square. And then we have these indentions from the molding that you lose a little balance on this side, but it is dead in the center on this flat. Now this part right here, this is kind of like, I guess it's kind of like an ergonomic place to put your hands. If you have really big hands, you could probably get all the way down in here. It kind of indents in a good bit, but it goes all the way up. So you have the ability to grab and hold. This one, as you can see, doesn't go in as deep, and it has more curvature to it and holding it. And it goes all the way up as well. Just very matte plastic. Usually it's very glossy plastic. You hear that crick? We'll see, but we do have full turn. We do have full adjustability there. See that the knob on top isn't that kind that would tear into your hand. It's very smooth. M22 works out great. It is similar to the MJJC, but the portholes are very different. The riser is different. So this isn't an MJJC white label product. This is probably a copy. They both come with Chanel wash mitts. Who cares? You do get an extra filter with each one. You get a 1.1 millimeter orifice. You get a nozzle cleaning tool, which you don't get with most of these foam cannons, and a couple of extra O-rings. Now we've already pre-measured. They are not exactly 1.25, but they're pretty close. The clear bottle had a 1.19, and this bottle, the opaque bottle, had a 1.22. So the 1.22 is very close to 1.25. 1.19 is going to be kind of slightly off. Not as far as some of them I've seen. I've seen some of them have seen as far as low as 1.15. You may ask, well, that's not big of a deal. Well, it kind of is, because if you're trying to make sure your machine doesn't overamp and you want a true 1.25 and you're getting a 1.15, that's not good. And it's kind of false advertisement. Well, it has 1.25. It phone's amazing. Well, that's because it's not a 1.25. The opaque actually was dead on 1.1. The clear was actually 1.07. So that one will foam even more. Now their orifices are actually stamped 1.25. And you see this one is stamped 1.1. Hopefully you can see that. So right now they're both around 20 bucks. The clear is actually slightly more. It's like $22.90. It's $29.99, but it's 24% off. And I think it's always going to be 24% off. This one right here is $29.99 as well. And it's 20-something% off. And it puts it right at $20. I prefer the clear. Just, it's easier to see. Everything is there. Just don't drop it. If you want that durability and you don't care and you have neon colored or dark colored soaps, you're going to be able to see them through this just fine. So before we get to the foaming and the dropping, don't forget to check out the links below for anything in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to the fun. Well, here's the setup, but we're not going to really use it that much. We are going to use a 1.4 orifice in one of these to check the foam level for the active 2.3. But mainly we're going to be using this Craftsman down here for the 1.1 and the 1.25. You see down here what I'm starting to do is I leave my Elay sprayer on the hose and I put the quick connect at the end of the sprayer. And then I have quick connects on all of everything I need. So I just click the gun straight into the pressure washer. So for a Craftsman, we're running the Uberflex hose, which is what a lot of people will be using with this type of pressure washer, or a similar type hose or the stock one. We also have the Blue Shield Kevlar coming out there for the active 2.3. Right over here, I have the active gun hooked up to the Uberflex via a quick connect, and then we have the SGS-28 for the Kevlar hose with the active 2.3. Time for some foam, and as always, incredible suds, 32-1. Now this is a 1500 milliliter unit here, so you would need like 1.5 ounces for this entire thing versus the other ones at 1000 milliliters, about 1 ounce or so. That's kind of not 32-1, but it's just easier. It's not like it's that much of a difference having a little bit more in there. We're going to spray this. This is the 1.25 with the Craftsman. I have the active gun, and here we go. As you can see, it still sprays good with a 1.25. That's because these manifolds are so much better than the earlier foam cannons that didn't do too well with a 1.25. That's a Craftsman. That thing actually flows less than the Ryobi, the Greenworks. That's why I picked it out for these types of tests, because it had the lowest numbers, so I could show the worst case scenario to see how much quicker it's running off. And some people do prefer this type of foam over the thickest foam. But normally what I do is I want the thickest foam possible, and then I just dial my dial down to get that consistency if I want to change it. Same dilution. The clear bottle now, as you see how much better it is to see. The biggest thing I like about the clear bottles is if you put soap directly in there and you're trying to get it mixed up, you can actually see if there's clumps of soap lying around where it's not completely mixed right, and it just allows you to see in there. I dilute mine separately in a separate container in a much more bulk amount, and I shake it up there and have it diluted, and then whenever it's available I just pour the exact amount that I need in the bottle. And as expected, the 1.1 much thicker foam. You see how less it's moving? It's a lot of dippling going on here. We have taken the 1.4 and put it on this foam cannon here. That's about as low as you can go on, say, an active 2.3 or AR630, something like that, to keep it under that 15 amps. Active actually sends a 1.5 with their unit. It measures 1.47, at least mine did. Active 2.0, you can use a 1.25, but you're going to be like right at 15 amps. And you can see the difference. Even with a 1.4, the flow of the better machine at 2.3 gallons per minute still creates really good foam with a much larger orifice. These are kind of orifices that you use with like gas pressure washers, even at 1.5. As you see how much longer it takes to dwell off the surface. So now we're outside. I apologize for any yard work noise. It is the weekend, but we have both. We're gonna drop both of them dry with nothing in them from shoulder height 3 times. See what happens. Then we're gonna fill them up to 1,000 milliliters each, drop them 3 more times, see what happens. If they survive, then we start moving up the wall, and we'll start dropping them from higher heights. This car's paint's screwed. Clear coat's coming off. I don't care if this actually really hits it or not. I'll switch sides. It didn't even make it to the freaking water test. Drop this one more. Just came unscrewed. It didn't even make it to the wet test. I think this is the earliest one has ever been destroyed. That was quick. That was real quick. And it ripped off. Don't get cut by that. Well, I thought we'd have 2 at this point, but now there's only 1 left. We've already proven our point. top just popped off. I gotta fill it up again. Oh, more plastic. As you see, we're good to go. Just a little dent right here on the corner. Not bad. I don't want to progress. I just want to drop it from the monster. I don't got much room over here, but I'm going to go over there and drop it real quick. All right, I don't know if you can see it, but it's being dropped from about 18 feet. We definitely got a dent. Significant, but guess what? Still there. No crack in the manifold. No crack from our stuff right here. Now, these basically hit the bottom of the bottle. So not much has happened. We have some residual scratching up here at the top. Side down, we don't drop it from a high height, just from the shoulder height to see how the manifold holds up from a single drop. Well, it just popped off. That's a good trait that a lot of these foam cans have that survived. The top would pop off. So I think a lot of pressure gets relieved that way. But as you can see from that drop directly on the manifold, all we got was that little scratch. It didn't break, didn't crack. Pretty durable plastic right there. I mean, we'll drop another time. This has lost most of this liquid though. Screws right on. It's just the bottle. And this is the leaking I was telling you about. It does leak for sure. Well, there's your carnage. Proven once again, the clear bottle, it didn't even survive the single drop with nothing in it. That's a significant amount of weight in there when it drops, but it broke off on the second drop with nothing in it. Crazy. This survived it all. The top just kept popping off, which is a good defense mechanism, I would call it. And obviously it got some dents down here, but it's not leaking. There's no cracks. That's HDPE for you. That's what it's built for. It's durable. If you like this, like I do, don't drop it. If you're klutz, grab this. It didn't crack or anything. It's scratched. Really good durability there. And even after the dent, it's still holding up, even though it's kind of leaning to one side. The only negative that you could say is that it needs a more flexible suction tube with a weighted ball, but we're in the $20 range here, $18, $20 range. You can't get everything you want in this price range. So don't forget to check out the links below for anything in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, Internet. Hey there, Internet. Came out with these bottles. Haven't really, oh my gosh. When it comes to oh my gosh. Now obviously, since this one is a see-through, jeez. Now they come with Chanel, you know, you can't, dude, make sure that you do it right before you throw them. Now you don't have to go grab the stupid things. Right now is I gotta check, remember which one I put the 1.25 in. 1.25. Anything below that could have a, so don't forget to check out links.